Our consciousness is in that bhajan. Not that we pick up the beat back. Okay, we look at the time now. Now I have to chant this Hare Krishna mantra. And have these things to take care of. After I finish this, then I will do that. Not exactly that kind of take with the Harinam. As if Harinam is one among the checklist thing. After this, I'll do this, and after this, I'll do this. That's on the checklist right there. And the second thing is, while doing the Harinam, because it is just a part of the checklist, and there are so many other things after that needs to be done after the Harinam, all those things also come during those 2 hours of Harinam. This is what our mindset is, right? So that's one thing. And the second thing that we generally see ourselves is the checklist mindset, where only the words come out, and then yes, we are done with the Harinam. The second thing is, our focus is so much on ourselves, even during the Harinam too. Ourselves, of our thoughts, of what we feel, of what I am feeling, how I am feeling, what I am thinking. I. The whole time Harinam goes on one side, but the thoughts about how I am feeling, what I have to do, what is my opinion about it, what is my take, I, my. There is no Krishna there. Just the dry words of Harinam on one side that's coming out. But the real substance that we are filled in with inside is all about I and my. How happy I am, how sad I am, how distracted I am, how focused I am. And everything, so self-centered thoughts. They're not on Krishna yet, not in Harinam yet. So these two, generally we see that even before we start the Harinam. That's the mindset we have even before we start the Harinam. Unfortunately, even after reading the Sikshastakam, the purpose of which is to bring our consciousness from that I and my to Krishna in the holy name. That is the purpose of hearing the Sikshastakam or reading the Sikshastakam. Even after reading that also, we are struck so much with I and my barrier. Holy name is on the other side of the ocean and we are on this side of the ocean. And we spend like that for the next 2 hours. That's our unfortunate situation. So here Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's saying, I am certainly the lowest of men. So with this kind of mentality, that mentality that we have during japa is that mentality that prevails the rest of the day. So what we have during the japa is just a sample of what we are. And that mentality is so much focused on I and my. What do I have to do? What do I have to think? What do I feel? What do I decide? Everything about that, right? So I am certainly the lowest of men. So that kind of consciousness is so distracted and self-centered consciousness. So it's a lower state of consciousness. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, we may be starting like that. We may be having that kind of consciousness, such lower level, distracted, self-centered, not so positive consciousness. Yes, but please make me the best of men by teaching me the ways of Sharanagati. But by cultivating the ways of Sharanagati, the thinking of Sharanagati. It may be voluntary thinking in the beginning, but as we embrace this, the consciousness of Sharanagati, slowly, but it initially starts with, first hearing what Sharanagati means, then voluntarily trying it. But voluntarily trying it can just go on for years, for lives also. Even after hearing, even if our hearing is like informational sake, and if our trying is for trying sake, then our bhakti will be just for bhakti sake only for so many years. But when we receive this information from the acharyas, in a way, where a hungry man, when he gets food for fasting for a long time and is so hungry and he's getting this food, or if a traveler in the desert walking for such long time in the hot sun and he's so thirsty, and if he sees the oasis and then he starts to drink those drops of water from there. So if we don't have that kind of attitude for these bhajans or for these instructions from acharyas, then it would just be informational only. So in what way, in what mode do we receive the instructions from acharya will decide if we are just filling our information box or causing transformation within us. It is totally up to us. Very voluntary thing, not to be blamed on anybody else. Everything is right in front of us. Acharyas are here. Instructions are here. And we should be having that lavulya. We should be feeling, oh, what kind of life is this? What kind of thinking am I? Such kunchita, sankuchita. These thoughts are so restricted to self. It's nothing to do about Krishna. What is ye halat kya hai? I really need to do something about it. Please, I need some instructions. Yes, let me embrace these instructions. And I look forward to keep thinking about these instructions. And I look forward and I pray that they come in my practice. So if we have that kind of mood, that laulyam, that ardrata, then all these instructions will cause transformation. Otherwise, we may be reading the same thing every day. Well, reading same thing every day, then we will feel like, kya hai? The same bhajan I'm hearing for past whatever, 1 year. And it still feels the same to me, just words only. There should be something happening. Why is it not happening? Okay, just then paying attention and offer a prayer and let that ardrata come out. Ki kab hai transformation? When would I be Krishna consciousness? Krishna conscious, not my consciousness. So when we have that, then these instructions, they just sink deep in, stay there. So that's how Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, we may be of that lower consciousness in the beginning. I am certainly the lowest of men, but transformation can take place and I will be the best of the men when I am in the Sharanagati consciousness. By learning the ways of Sharanagati, please make me the best of the men. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that's how he's giving the teachings of Mahaprabhu, the ways of Sharanagati brought by Mahaprabhu to us, to make us the best of the men, from bringing us from the lowest of the men. So here, so this is the teaching right here. This is good for japa also, before the start of the japa and during the, both inside the japa and outside the japa. I will pause here, and on this note, we will go to the Sikshastakam, prayers of Sikshastakam. But before that, I want to summarize. I want to bring it to my attention that these Acharya Vakyas are not ritualistic sessions. They are meant to wake us up each day, so many times in the day. We need this wake-up call, and Acharyas are waking us up. They're trying to lift us up from such a lower conscious of being distracted, diseased, with no ruchi for Krishna or Harina. And of course, it's a miserable state. So that's a lower consciousness. And each time we are hearing from these acharyas, we have to take this as a very merciful wake-up call. Merciful wake-up call. Not a ritualistic logging in and then in for just formal informational filling. Not like that. Information about Sikshastakam can be obtained if we just read through. It can be obtained within an hour or so. We by heart the verses and we get it. But the purpose of we hearing from the acharyas again and again is to remind us, to wake us up to what they are saying, and to keep us close to them. Only when we are reminded and brought close to them, that's when the Harinam can be done properly. We have to follow their instructions when we do the Harinam, or when we have our self-centered thoughts coming, then we remind ourselves of what Acharya's instructions are, how those thoughts should be. From, as we just read, picking us from the lower Amito Adam thoughts to Karohe Uttam thoughts, how to go there. So this should be the contemplation. So a wake-up call to be close to the Acharya's instructions, and contemplation, not just for this time. Srila Narottam Das Thakur is singing. Srila Gauranga Karuna Kuru Narottama Sada. So he's constantly calling out to Gauranga. He's our Acharya. So bhakti is something that constantly goes on within us. It should go on within us constantly. It's not a 2-hour japa time or 1-hour session time like that. But this 2-hour japa, 1-hour session, they are all helpful for us to reset. So this constant yearning to connect to Bhagavan and to lovingly reciprocate with him. For that to happen, we are doing all this. So in that way, our sessions are not formal logging in, and not just informational sake. It's the information anyway. We have read this so many times, and we will read this again. Same Acharya Bhajans. But the moment we start to hear about Acharya's instruction, we should reset within our mind. कि ये informational नहीं है. This is my wake-up call, and I have to get close to the Acharya's instructions. I have to live by their instructions, their mode. So that is the priming effect. So each time we log in, each time we are in the session, we want to remember that. We want to remember that. I know we are supposed to do the summary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura's summary of the first verse of Sikshastakam. I think we can still do that. We can still do that. We'll read the rest of the 4 verses that we left behind, and I can summarize that quickly for you. That way, it can get more relevant to you, and we can pack it up in our mind so it can be used. So I will let you read this. I'll bring the Sammodana bhasya. Okay, so I was just reading before the session started. I was reading again about all these wonderful words of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. Each paragraph of what he's saying, look at this, the liberated and conditioned states, everything, they are so good. And we just get stuck at one paragraph itself. It was hard to move on to the next one. So it's very nice. I will post this PDF in the WhatsApp group. You may please go through it on your own. But generally, these are more relished and more revealed in the discussions than just personally going through. Whatever I am sharing with you is what I've learned from my Siksha Guru in that satsanga. So when I am there in that satsang, I get so much more than just reading it myself, and that's what I'm trying to give you. But in any case, I will post this one. This is beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so that was all Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's, and now Srila Bhaktivinoda's. Chetudarpana Marjanam was read. Bhava Mahadava Nirvapanam read. Shreya Khaira Chindika Vitranam, that is also read. I know we are just considering as that read only, but not a lot got into our minds. We'll try to summarize, and hopefully that will be helpful to you today. So I will let you please go ahead. You know what I should do? Yeah, maybe I should summarize these 3 verses that we have already read, and then that will be more useful. So we read this one, and again, the first verse of Shri Sikshastakam summarizes our spiritual journey. Basically, it is actually uplifting us, Amito Adham, we on the lower state, where our consciousness is just filled with the dirt of modes, where we are affected with the modes, distracted, miserable, painful to the self, painful to the people around. So that's a lower state, shrunken consciousness. That's the start of the journey, right? From that to Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. That is Karohe Uttam. That is the heart of Sharanagati, life of Sharanagati, existence of Sharanagati. And not just Sharanagati, Even demigods also took Sharanagati of Lord Vishnu when they needed protection or some wounds. But what Gauranga is giving us is Preeti Sharanagati. We want to take shelter out of love, not because we need something from Nandanandana. So that's the kind of Sharanagati which takes us to Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sanket Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So the first verse is that whole journey right there. From Adham to very much a Uttam. Okay. So in that first verse, Chetodarpana Marjana, we already read this. But to summarize, as I posted in the WhatsApp group, this Chetodarpana Marjana, dirt on our soul or consciousness, muddied or polluted by modes or affected by modes. This, okay, when we take the example of chanting in the japa, when we start the start of the japa, we are all still distracted, focused, self-centered like that, right? Not so positive thinking, checklist, all that. Self-centered, distracted, disease like that. All that is because we are under the effect of the modes. The passion is pulling us out. The ignorance is sinking us down. A drop of goodness maybe is letting us do the bhajan. So that condition that we are in is that is considered a dirty consciousness because the modes are making our consciousness dirty. So in that consciousness is washed off. These modes are washed off by Harinam. So when we take the japa beads in our hands, we want to remember this, that the Harinam that we are going to chant now is Lord Krishna himself. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Dhamma Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. So this Harinam that I'm going to chant now is Krishna himself. And all these thoughts about I, my, either good or bad, they are all dirt. And anything about Krishna, this Harinam is clean. We want to remember that Lord Krishna is present in the Harinam. And this Harinam, Lord Krishna is going to cleanse our consciousness, purge out the modes that are bothering us. Okay, so that's Chetodarpana Marjana. Lord Krishna in the Harinam has the potency, is very powerful, and can cleanse our consciousness of all the modes. It means can mitigate our miseries, get rid of our passion and ignorance. He has that potency. Harinam has that potency. Okay, that's why it's said here, O holy name, O Lord Krishna, you dissipate the sufferings. Why does holy name dissipate the sufferings? Because Lord Krishna is present in the Harinam, and when we chant the Harinam, Harinam is Krishna. He is very potent. He is very merciful, and he is going to wash away our lower modes, passion, ignorance. Yeah? That's Chetodarpana Marjanam. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. This Mahadavagni, Bhava is material existence. The difference between material existence and spiritual existence is only one thing. I is material existence. Krishna is spiritual existence. If my thoughts are about I or myself, that is material existence. If my thoughts are about Krishna and what to do for Krishna, that's spiritual existence. So the holy name, Harinam, when we are chanting with this understanding that is given by Acharyas, that this Harinam, Krishna is present here in the holy name, and Krishna in the holy name will wash away my moods, and so will get rid of my miseries which are caused by the moods. And second, Krishna in the holy name will pick me up from the world of I and my self-centeredness, and he will put me in his world, Krishna Samsara, where Krishna is the center. So all the thoughts that I would have is about Krishna. Everybody around, everybody I see, anything I see around is relevant to Krishna, is related to Krishna. So that kind of consciousness and thoughts is spiritual existence. The thoughts of I and my, where I am the center and everybody else is around me, is material existence. Holy name is so potent, so attractive. When we are calling out Krishna in the holy name will pick us up from that miserable I-centered world to blissful Krishna-centered world, Krishna Samsara. That's Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapana. Just with that change, picking up from miserable I-centered world, this Mahadavagni, not just fire, but blazing fire that goes on within us when we are in the center in our world, that is extinguished when the holy name picks us up from that world and beautifully, very mercifully places us in Krishna Samsara, Krishna's world. That's Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam. It happens right there. When we start doing japa, it doesn't take too long. We just have to do the japa in this consciousness, not with our own old chaotic mind saying whatever it wants to say, nothing related to Krishna. वो कैसेट नहीं mind में, ये कैसेट चलना है. The Acharya Vakyas, what are they saying about holy name? This is the cassette that should go on. And this will be favorable for japa. This will bring us close to the holy names. This will reveal us the potency of the holy name. That is Bhavamahadavagni Nirvapanam. Next one is Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. This is beautiful. What happens is, when our miseries are washed away, modes are washed away by Harinam, and when the Harinam very mercifully picks us up from our miserable I-centered world to blissful Krishna-centered world, Krishna Samsara, then our consciousness automatically changes. It becomes from exploiting consciousness, expecting consciousness, to a servitude consciousness. Okay, how can I serve? That automatically happens. When we chant Harinam with this guidance, this automatically happens. And there is no artificiality about it. And we are not mechanically trying to cultivate kuch bhi nahi wahan pe. It's Krishna right there in Harinam. And we are calling out to Krishna, knowing his potency, that he is right there. And we have the directions and guidance from Acharyas of how to call out and what to think and what is the potency of holy name. Tab automatically servitude comes. We don't have to do any mental gymnastics and adjustments, because holy name has a potency to pick us up from miserable I world and put us in blissful Krishna's world. Krishna's world is all about servitude. All the Brajavasis are serving Krishna. Krishna is serving Brajavasis. So that automatically happens when we are calling out Harinam with that faith, with that understanding as given by these Acharyas. I think I should pause here. The rest 4, we will continue. I will